Welcome to episode 124 of the Various and Sundry podcast. I am your host, Matt Harmon, joined live from the Vault Studio on the beautiful campus of Grace College and Theological Seminary by my good friend, my colleague, my co-host, and the man who is a mover and a shaker, John Scott Sloat.
I get results, Matt. I get results.
Yeah. So, what's going on, John Scott Sloat?
Not a whole lot. Anniversary over the weekend. So Andrea and I celebrated 2 years being married. So that was very exciting.
Yes, the second smallest wedding ceremony I've ever performed.
Yeah. So
all 12 of us in the room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was the middle of COVID wedding. So
yes,
we were small.
Yes,
but mighty.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Did you do anything significant to celebrate the anniversary?
No, not particularly. We don't celebrate those things really big. We went out, we bought ice cream for the occasion. That was about as much as we did.
Okay.
Went for a walk.
Okay.
But that's not unusual.
All right.
So.
Probably worked in the yard this weekend.
Absolutely, a ton. I was out there, oh my goodness, so much. Putting down mulch.
Do you go black mulch or brown mulch?
I went brown.
Okay.
Yeah, went brown. So did a lot of work in the gutters, fixing them so they're not overflowing from water.
Already?
Yeah. I went up there and I had to take off a downspout. It had 4 inches of stuffed up leaves in it.
Your house it's not even 3 years old, is it?
No, it's not 3 years old yet.
I don't remember a ton of trees around.
No, they must be blowing in.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
So I've done some fixes. I think I fixed the problem. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see next spring what it looks like.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, indeed. Well, let's get the particulars out of the way here. If you want to contact the show, you can find us on Twitter at V&S-Pod. Email the show, variousandsundrypodcast@gmail.com. We are on Facebook. We are on YouTube. And we would love for you to leave us a review and a 5-star rating on whatever platform you access the show. Yeah.
We did get an email over
Oh, we did?
last week. Yeah, I forwarded it to you. I'm pretty sure.
I never got it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, who did I forward that to?
Yeah, I mean –
Interesting. No, it definitely –
Okay, you'll have to look for that.
Anyway, listener in Illinois.
Oh.
Matt in Illinois.
Yeah, you definitely did not forward that to me.
Or if you did – I'm looking at it right here.
Or if you,
I definitely did. It may be in spam.
Maybe it hit my spam.
Yeah. Pastor in Illinois knows neither of us.
Okay.
Knows nothing about the pod, or knows about the pod. Obviously, he's a listener, but doesn't know what Grace is. He told me he's an RTS grad, or he's a D-Min student at RTS.
How did he hear about the show? Did he say?
I have no idea. I'm going to write him back
Yeah.
today. The fact that I said this on air means I will
Accountability,
write.
yes.
We'll write him back.
Well, hey, shout out to Matt in Illinois.
Yes, Pastor Matt.
Okay. Very cool. There's a lot going on with the podcast behind the scenes.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
There's a lot, yeah. I mean, I'm just agreeing because I don't know what else to say, but sure. What else is – we got some free books this last week.
Free books. Oh, yeah, because of our massive influence.
Mm-hmm. We have a great listenership at Crossway Books. So.
We do. So we have a great relationship with the lovely folks at Crossway. So they're kind enough to send us books on occasion. Appreciate that. And I'm just thinking, there's going to be some news about the podcast coming up in the next, several weeks-ish. Yeah.
Interesting.
So we're just kind of teasing out, some potential changes to the podcast.
Oh.
Yes.
Interesting.
Some potential personal developments. It's all on the table, John.
You're so giddy right now with teasing these, with toying with our listeners.
Yeah.
With our listeners, not singular.
Yeah, we have more than one.
As the email from Matt in Illinois provides for us. We have more than one.
We do. I'm just excited that, the podcast is evolving. We're growing. We're developing.
We're changing.
We're in high-level discussions about stuff.
Yeah. We have to, and there needs to be a conversation in the future about merchandise again. We haven't had the merchandise conversation in a while.
Well, I think part of that is potentially related to one of the changes that we're contemplating.
Yep.
That if we go that direction, being as cryptic as we can, of course, that maybe that change of direction that you know what I'm thinking about, that you suggested.
Yeah. Yeah, potentially.
Might open up some avenues for some merch.
Potentially.
So, yeah, well, we'll
all. See.
That's all on the table. Summer's a great time for us to have these kind of high-level discussions.
Mm-hmm. I was at dinner with Andrea's parents over the weekend.
Yes. They also listen to the podcast.
We have so there are listeners of the podcast, and it's broad. And then there's like a core group of listeners that the second it comes out, they're pretty much listening to it.
Yeah.
They are in that group.
Okay.
They asked me about Zach and Ohio's mustache at dinner.
Well, let's go 30 seconds on that. Did you see the pictures of his graduation from?
No, not on Facebook or
That's
Instagram.
Right. Well, okay. So there were pictures posted, and he's allowed the beard to kind of catch up.
Well, that's what he told me he did. So I texted him this to let him know that this came up that his mustache came up at dinner.
Yeah.
And he said he went back to the beard.
Well, I'm glad to see that cooler heads have prevailed and that the enormous amount of social and peer pressure has worked.
Well, he's going to be showing those graduation pictures for years. Like they're going to be on the wall.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
He doesn't want that.
Ah, I see.
I mean, he's vain at the end of the day. At the end of the day, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad we sorted that out. How about we do this? I'm going to flip the order. Let's do our summer read announcement here.
Okay.
And then we'll talk sports.
Okay. Sounds good.
Is that going to mess up the timestamps on people jumping ahead? I guess we can just make a note of that if we want to. But you're the one that told me that there are people who skip to –
There are.
Okay.
To certain spots.
Okay. Do you think that'll mess that up?
I don't think so. They can figure it out. Yeah.
Sweet. We'll just have to make it specific in the show notes when that is. So we have our announcement of our summer read. So if you're new to the podcast, this is year 3, season 3 of the podcast.
Yeah, the weekly podcast that we do.
Yeah,
it's season 3.
Yeah, sure.
Our third summer.
Yeah, and so the last 2 summers have done what we call a summer read, where we pick a book and we break it down into smaller bites and discuss it on the pod each week for typically 3 weeks. And then we culminate with an interview with the author. Mm-hmm. And we are excited to announce that we have settled on our summer read. Do you want to give me a drum roll here to announce? Okay. Our summer read is Randy Newman, Mere Evangelism, 10 Insights from C.S. Lewis to Help You Share Your Faith. Very practically oriented. It's a good blend. I've skimmed in it, and know Randy personally, but it's got his characteristic sense of wit and humor. And if there's one person that I want to hear talk about evangelism, it's Randy Newman. He's written other books on evangelism, and he makes it seem so much less intimidating than it often feels like by nature. So that is the book. We will have a link in the show notes to go find it. It is, again, Randy Newman, Mere Evangelism, 10 Insights from C.S. Lewis to Help You Share Your Faith. We will begin discussing that on the episode that drops on –
we say the 14th?
I think it's June 14th. So you've got a ways to go here in terms of finding time to buy it and get into it. Yes, June 14th, the episode that drops then will be the first week we discuss the book. And we'll continue to announce it on a weekly basis. So, all right. Ready to talk some sports?
I am.
Let's do it. So probably the big story over the weekend was for the most part, what was the big story was Game 7s. You had
A lot of Game 7s.
three? I think 3 of them in the NBA and 4 in the NHL playoffs.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I did not watch. I guess I caught brief snippets of some of the hockey, but I'm not that interested in hockey. So
I saw the hockey. Hockey fans are crazy, and so to watch the things going on at Madison Square Garden was a lot of fun.
Okay. All right.
That's what comes into my Twitter feed is Madison Square Garden.
Gotcha. Okay. That's the Rangers?
Rangers,
Okay.
yeah. Rangers, Penguins.
Okay. So what caught my attention was the NBA playoffs. You had a couple of Game 7s on yesterday, Sunday. Recording on a Monday here. So you had the Celtics beating the Bucks in Game 7 pretty comfortably. And then the surprise, big surprise, was the Mavs beat the Suns in Phoenix.
In Phoenix,
And
yeah.
didn't just beat them. I mean, they embarrassed them.
Mm-hmm.
They were up, I think, 20 at the half. And this was, I think, at the half, the Suns had scored 27 points, and Luka Doncic had scored 27.
So the Suns in the second quarter only scored 10 points.
Yeah.
That's not good. That's not a winning formula.
Well, especially when in the first quarter you scored 17. I mean,
yeah, 17 and 10.
27 points and a half in an NBA game is not going to win you.
Well, and then 23 in the third.
Yeah.
Like that's not enough. That's under oh my goodness, I'm going to get made fun of for my math skills.
Yeah.
That's around 50 points in 3 quarters. That's not going to do the trick for you. Now they scored 40 in the fourth to make up for it, but that's just garbage time at that point.
Yeah, it's garbage time. The Mavs led by as many as I think like 45 or 46.
Goodness.
Like it was unbelievable. It's got to be the biggest home loss in a Game 7 in NBA playoffs, I would have to think.
Yeah.
I mean, losing by that much on your home floor, that's remarkable.
Booker went 3 for 14.
Yeah. But, I mean, Dallas just came out firing and absolutely lit it up. So that brings us to the conference finals. Heat Celtics in the East, Mavs Warriors in the West. Who do you like in those?
I'll take the Heat, and I will take the Warriors. I think the Warriors are going to beat the Mavs.
I think you're probably right. I think I would agree with both those picks. So, and let's see. Let's talk some baseball.
Yeah.
We'll start with your Reds first.
Oh,
Or your
not
Reds.
my Reds.
I'm reading the sheet. My bad. Your Mets.
Yes, my Mets.
We will talk about the Reds.
Yes.
I looked at the sheet and had a little brain fog there. My apologies. Your Mets.
Yes. Starting to get the injury bug
Okay.
a little bit. So we had 2 pitchers go down, one with inflammation in the bicep.
Too many curls?
Tylor McGill. His name is Tylor, Tylor.
Okay.
Tylor McGill.
All right.
So he went down, and then we had another pitcher go down recently with something. So there's some of those little injuries. We lost our first series this weekend of the year, which we're 11 deep, 10 deep, something like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure.
that was pretty encouraging and exciting, and we were in all the games. So
Okay.
still an encouraging season thus far.
All right. Well, the reason I accidentally mentioned the Reds is because something historic happened to them over the weekend. They pitched a no-hitter and lost.
Yeah.
They lost to the Pirates 1-0. I can't remember how many pitchers they had that the Reds used to get – I think it was multiple. I know it wasn't just one guy. But they gave up no hits and still lost the game.
Yeah, and those are 2 of the worst teams in the majors right now. I mean, they are 2 very, very bad teams.
Yeah, yeah. So
I'm not surprised that they were unable to hit the ball.
which means they become – this is the 6th time in Major League Baseball history.
Since like the 1800s.
Yeah, that this has happened. And
That's
this,
incredible.
It's part of what is fun about baseball.
Yeah.
There are these weird, quirky things that happen that you're like, oh, that's only happened 4 times, 6 times, 10 times out of, hundreds of thousands, really maybe even millions of
I think
of
millions
games
of games, yeah.
since 1900. That's just crazy like that. So, yeah. Anything else on sports here?
I don't think so. I'm trying to think if anything else is going on. Eurovision happened over the weekend. That's not a
That's not
a
on my
sport.
radar, no.
Trying to think of other cultural touchstones that are going on that have some sort of competition as a part of them. I can't think of any.
Yeah, that is not my wheelhouse. So,
The Ukrainians won, spoiler, for Eurovision. And the Russians were banned also.
that makes sense.
Yes. Both those things make sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Finland and Sweden are looking to join NATO now. We could talk that for 60 seconds.
Yeah, I don't even know if I could do 60 seconds. I didn't know they weren't in NATO until maybe a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I would have made the assumption they were.
Yeah. Well, that provides a natural transition point to our main topic, though.
A little bit, yeah.
Tonight.
Tonight.
What is
My
going
goodness.
on? Oh, gosh.
We don't edit this.
Yeah,
so-
this is all going to stay in.
Oh, my goodness.
Today we're talking about bucket list travel destinations. So a little backstory just in terms of we both love to travel.
Mm-hmm.
And again, picking up new listeners to the pod, we have co-led trips internationally with Grace students.
So maybe some background to even Grace's philosophy of this. Grace requires each student to have some sort of cross-cultural experience before they graduate. It could be stateside.
Yeah.
Most of them historically have been international.
Right.
So we have led 2
mystery trips.
mystery trips. And the idea of a mystery trip is you hit 3 or so world cities in about 14 days.
Yeah.
And you progressively reveal. So you get to the airport, you hand out an envelope.
Yeah, we don't tell students in advance where they're going.
That's right. It's a mystery. And then they learn at the airport, and everybody puts it on Instagram and all these things. It's a lot of fun.
It popped up on my Facebook memories.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, a couple days ago.
Yeah. Sometimes there's elation. Sometimes there's just like, oh.
Yeah.
I'll never forget the first one I led with somebody else. We
Yeah.
went to New York City, and everybody was just like, oh.
Oh. Which that probably hurt you a little bit, right?
That did.
Yeah.
That did.
Given your love for New York.
My love for New York City. But our first mystery trip that we led together, where did we go? We went to Sydney, Australia.
Yeah.
Christchurch, New Zealand, and that was a lot of fun. We both really enjoyed Christchurch.
Yes.
We enjoyed Sydney as well.
Yeah.
But Christchurch was special.
Yeah.
And then Tokyo. We went to Tokyo.
We did.
And then our second one, oh my goodness, we did Reykjavik.
Iceland, yes.
Yeah. And we did some cool hiking there.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that popped up on my Facebook memories recently as well.
And then we did Helsinki, Finland.
Yes. Hidden gem. Hidden gem.
Great city. And then London,
Yeah.
which was also a great city. But we probably already knew that
Yeah, for sure.
before
For sure.
we went. So
in any case, we love to talk about travel, places we have been, would like to go. I think we probably envision talking about travel a little bit more on the podcast than we have. And part of that's just been because of COVID,
yeah.
where travel just kind of stopped. So
Some of our first episodes were tracking COVID.
yes,
We were
because you were going to lead a Grace trip to
Taiwan.
which you had done for many years in a row.
5 years in a row. Haven't been back in 3 or 4 years now.
Well, yeah, 2019 would have been your last time because 2020 was the COVID year. So, yes. And we've been to Israel together way back when you were a student.
Yeah, the 2000
Trip that I co-led.
January 2010, is that right?
11.
11? Yeah, that makes more sense. Yep.
And so I've led, I think, 3 trips to Israel now, a trip to Greece and Turkey, and we've done the mystery trips with you. So we both love traveling overseas. So we thought it would be fun to talk a little bit about bucket list travel destinations, places that we haven't been yet. So that's kind of the qualifier. It has to be somewhere you've not been before. That before before you die, you hope you have the opportunity to get to. So I figure maybe we'll go back and forth. What do you think in terms of
That sounds good.
alternating?
Yes.
Do you want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I think you have a few more than I do.
Yeah, maybe.
So maybe I go first.
We'll get them all in.
Okay. Well, my first one is the Gold Coast in Australia.
Okay.
By name alone, I really want to get to the Gold Coast.
Okay, and why specifically there? Because you've been to Australia. You've been to Sydney.
Yeah, I've been to the big cities, or I've been to Sydney.
Yeah.
I would love to get more to my understanding of the Gold Coast, maybe I'm wrong, is a little bit more beachy, a little bit more vacation-y sort of space. And I'd like to get to that and see that and explore that.
Okay. So now here's a question. Your lovely wife has not traveled outside of the country. Is that correct?
No, she's never been outside the country.
Okay.
No.
Do you think that's something that she would like to do as well?
I think she could do Australia. I think she would want to, for her first experience out of the country, a shorter plane ride.
Yeah, that's true.
Because that's a long plane ride.
It is.
I mean, that's a long time.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, probably not her first experience, but I think she would enjoy Australia as a whole.
Okay.
Because it tends to be a bit more westernized than lots of other places you could visit.
Sure.
So I think she would enjoy that.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't mind going to the Gold Coast as well. I enjoyed being in Sydney. I'd love to go back to Australia.
Yeah.
See different parts of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what number one on my list is going to be, obviously.
Yeah.
It's Mother Russia.
Yeah. Do you want to tell the story?
I mean, it's my white whale. I had it in my grasp, and it just slipped away from me.
So the backstory there is our second mystery trip. We had bought train tickets at that time.
We had bought train tickets.
And we were going to go to – instead of going to London, we were going to go to when we were in Helsinki, we were going to pick up a train and go to St. Petersburg and then on to Moscow.
Yeah. Oh.
And then get a Moscow flight back.
Yes.
And based on passports and a lot of things I just don't want to get into, it was too difficult.
Yeah, we had some difficulties with the Russian embassy.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of getting approval to get into the country.
Yeah. In D.C. and Houston.
Yes.
We struggled with both those.
Yeah. Who would have thought the Russians have a big presence in Houston, Texas?
Yeah, I don't know why.
D.C. makes sense. Houston.
I would expect Chicago more than I would Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, as a kid who grew up in the midst of the Cold War, there's always been that fascination with Russia. And yeah, I am fascinated by it. Would love to experience it, and thought we were going to do it. And even the idea of a train. I like train rides.
Yeah.
So the idea of a train from Helsinki through the Russian countryside into St. Petersburg, and then from St. Petersburg on to Moscow. Man, we had Airbnbs lined up as well.
We had Airbnbs lined up. Yeah. It would have been great. It would have been a lot of fun, but it was not to be.
And now it doesn't look very likely to happen anytime soon.
No, I think you're probably 7-8 years out from being able to.
Yeah, I think that might even be generous. So that's top of my bucket list there. All right, number 2 for you. And again, I don't know if you put these in any order.
I didn't put them in any particular order.
Mine had the top one, and then after that, there's not as much of an order. So.
One that I've talked about for a while of wanting to go to is Istanbul.
Yeah.
There's great church history connections there.
Tons of church history.
Being Constantinople before that and Byzantium before that. But I was scheduled to go there, I think, on our first mystery trip. And there was a coup, and we couldn't go.
What is it with geopolitics interfering with our travel plans?
I know. So, yeah, it would have been a great city to go to. Yeah. I've heard. I think Istanbul represents an interesting city because it is more Middle Eastern, but it also has a lot of Western influence. It's also a city that sits on a couple of continents.
Right.
And I find that fascinating. And so I've just heard a lot of very cool things about Istanbul, and I would love to get there.
Yeah. I've flown through the Istanbul airport, so it doesn't count. But
Unfortunately, no.
I would love to see Istanbul as well. Something I didn't put on my list, but is sort of on the bucket list is I've been to Turkey, but I've been to the western part of Turkey. I would love to go to central Turkey, where some of the cities where Paul planted churches that he wrote the letter to the Galatians to.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that part of Turkey, so that'd be something else I'd like to see there. So anything else on that before we –
I don't think so. Not on Istanbul.
All right.
No.
My next one I've got here is Italy, with specific emphasis on both Rome and Pompeii.
Okay.
Because I'm a history buff as well, and so enjoy that element. And Pompeii fascinates me just in the sense of when you bury a city in volcanic ash, like it preserved it for history. And just fascinating to be able to walk through the ruins there. And and of course, Rome is majestic on multiple levels.
Oh, yeah.
You're hard-pressed to pick a city that has more history than Rome.
Would you go to the Vatican while you're there?
Maybe.
Be hard not to.
Yeah, I think it feels like one of those places that you kind of have to see.
Yeah.
So I think that would be somewhere I would love to go. You've been to other parts of Italy.
I've been to Milan, Florence, and Venice.
Okay.
And
that's northern.
Northern Italy's stunning. In fact, took a train across the country from Milan to Venice. But yeah, it's a beautiful country. Great. It will ruin pasta for you. Like the pasta there is just so much better than anything we get here.
I believe that. Yeah.
And it's just, oh my gosh, it's just so good.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
How's the coffee?
Coffee's good. They do coffee a little bit differently there. So there's no giant cups of coffee. So you do if you get an Americano, it is. Obviously, I'm making size marks with my fingers here.
This is an audio venue, audio medium here, John.
But it's like maybe half a cup of water to a shot of espresso. Like it's just not much.
Okay.
And so you get shots of coffee. If anywhere you see the word bar, it's a coffee bar, not a bar to drink at, not drink alcohol at.
Oh.
Just so you're aware when you get to Italy.
Yes.
And you pay a different price if you're going to stand and drink coffee than if you're going to sit and drink coffee. Yeah.
What?
Isn't that wild?
Yes.
That if you want to sit down, there's a certain price. It's a higher price. But if you want to stand at the bar and drink it, it's a different price.
Yeah. The Europeans also do some of these weird things where we're going to charge you to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Yeah.
That seems like kind of a necessity of life, right?
Right, but their bathrooms are a lot cleaner than ours a lot of times.
Okay, fair enough. But, I guess I got to carry around loose change just to make sure that I can –
pop a euro into to get into the stall.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did – in Milan there was an American coffee shop, and it was like 3 stories of tables and chairs where you could sit and do homework and all these things.
So maybe in the show notes you should put a link to your coffee shop guide, your international coffee.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So
there's also a website I heard of. I'd have to go find it for good coffee across Europe.
Okay.
And the benefits of a website is it's up to date.
Yeah. So when we travel, John loves to hit coffee shops, and so someone gave you as a gift a book that supposedly lists like the best coffee shops in all these major locations around the world.
Yeah, it was actually friends of mine in Taiwan. We go to this bookstore, department store in Taiwan, and it's this really unique place that has like food shops and gadgets and all these things around them. And they have tables and tables of books. And so I saw this book, and it was like coffee shops around the world. And I'm just sort of flipping through it. was never going to buy it for myself, set it back down, and our guide actually sent her husband back to go purchase it for me.
Nice.
And they wrote just the kindest note in the front. And I'll actually hand it out to friends and have them open this up and initial and date when they visited a particular shop on there. So that's pretty cool.
That's one of the things. Didn't that lead us to that shop in Helsinki?
I believe so. Yeah.
Man, that was good.
Yeah. I can't remember the name of it.
That was just a few blocks down from our Airbnb.
I'll have to go find it and put that shop in the show notes because it was that good.
It was so good. Okay, so I think we're up to you now. Your next choice.
Okay, Ireland.
Okay,
I've never been to Ireland.
I haven't either.
My mom's maiden name is Clark. It's pretty Irish.
Okay,
and so love to get to Ireland and explore. I'd love to visit Belfast. I'd love to go to Dublin. I'd love to go to all those places.
Yeah, that was a consideration. Didn't make the list, but it would be. I would love to go to Ireland.
Yeah.
In that same part of the world, Scotland is on the list for me.
Yeah.
For similar reasons.
Cards on the table. I saw your list ahead of time and deliberately chose not to go with ones that you chose. So.
Yeah, but I would love to. I would love to see different parts of Scotland. The pictures I've seen are stunning, and just the rich history there.
Mm-hmm.
I think,
Highlands, right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So
I know you're a big believer in Loch Ness as well.
Totally.
And
all in.
So you're going to go hunting? Yeah.
Yes. And the publishing house that published my first book, really, well, unless you're counting the dissertation, I guess that counts. Second book, the commentary, the Philippians commentary, that's based in Scotland. So.
Why don't you go with your next one here?
Well, that was Scotland.
Oh, Scotland. Yes. Okay.
I was just sort of piggybacking off your Ireland. We're staying in the same area there. By the way, did you get the email? This is a little off topic. Did you get the email last week from the administration here saying, "Hey, we need a leader for the England and Wales trip. It leaves tomorrow."
I did get that email. Yeah. I was on a walk with Andrea, and I just showed it to her to gauge her response. And she went, "Oh, interesting," and
moved on.
And I was kind of dipping a toe in the water to see if she'd go, "You gotta go." If she had said that, I probably would have gone.
Well, when I saw that, I thought single John Sloat.
I'd be all over it.
Would have been all over that, and he would have gone.
I do know.
They must have found somebody. They find somebody?
I talked to the person that directs all of that, and she said that they had 7 or 8 people respond within an hour to go.
Yeah, I guess that doesn't surprise me. I mean, it was England and Wales. So there's not the language issues. It's paid for.
Yeah.
Hop on the plane.
Yeah.
Which it did remind me, my passport is expired. I need to renew my passport. Okay, so we're back to you, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted something in Asia, so I went Singapore.
Okay.
I've never been to Singapore. I hear it's a wonderful city to go to. Modern. I mean, the city is the country also, and I find that very interesting. So
where in Asia have you been? Have you been to Taiwan?
I've been to Taiwan, which is kind of coin toss whether you think it's China or not.
Yeah.
Depending on your geopolitical perspective. Been to Japan, obviously, with you. Been to Central Asia, so I've been to Kyrgyzstan. Probably not making the list of return visits. Goodness, have I been anywhere else in Asia? I feel like I've been somewhere else. I don't think so.
Okay.
But Singapore would be a lovely place to visit.
Gotcha.
My dad loves Singapore, and we go there on business all the time.
I see.
In fact, this is a very Scott Sloat move. He was going there twice a year for business. Like every 6 months he would go there.
And he considered buying an apartment or a house?
No. He went to a tailor there, got him to take measurements, and would send him an email saying, "I would like this in clothing." And this guy would make it for him. And he would pick it up when he got there and take it back with him.
That's a very Scott Sloat thing.
Yeah.
Okay. My next spot would be we'll go with the North Island of New Zealand. So on the mystery trip, we went to the South Island and loved it. It's beautiful. Loved the people. Just a great experience.
It was a great visit.
But didn't get a chance to go to the North Island. And I would love to kind of complete that piece of New Zealand there, which based on the geography, like by the time you get to the northern part of the North Island, it's much warmer than where we were in the South Island.
Yeah,
I think there's also some more Lord of the Rings sites there.
I know Hobbiton is on the North Island, but I think I did most of the filming on the South Island.
Well, the mountains, yeah, I think. I mean, when we took the train through the mountain range that runs through the South Island there,
you felt like you
were in Lord of the Rings. Yes.
Yeah. There are a few places I have visited where I went, I want to move there. And
that one and
Helsinki.
Helsinki was the
those
other
are the
one.
two. Yeah. Those are the two where I go like, oh my gosh, I could move there and it'd be great.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's mine. That's my next one, the North Island.
My next and final one is I'm not sure how to pronounce this, but it's Cinque Terre.
Okay.
Have you heard of this?
No.
So this is 5 cities on the coast of Italy that are built into like a rock face that overlook the Mediterranean.
Okay.
So if you go Google Cinque, Cinque, Terre, Terre, you'll see these just beautiful cities built into the side of rock faces, and there's 5 of them up and down the coast. Are you looking at them now?
No, I'm looking at
pulling up something?
I'm getting ready for my next one.
Okay.
But that would be fascinating.
It's beautiful, and I would love to visit there and stay there for a few days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my last one. Well, I've got one in the U.S., but my last international one is I would love to go and see the fjords.
I've known people that have done cruises.
Yes, my in-laws have done that and speak very highly of it. So, yeah, I think I would love to do a cruise up through the fjords there and see that part of Finland as well as Sweden. So,
yeah, I've heard that's absolutely stunning.
Yeah, and that's. I'll add one more. You don't have anything left.
I don't have anything left.
One spot in the U.S. I've not been to is the Grand Canyon. So I would love to at some point see that. Have you been there?
I have not been to the Grand Canyon. I am going to Phoenix in a few weeks.
Yeah, I don't know how far that is.
I'm at a conference. I'm not going to get there, but I am in Phoenix. I'll add an American location. I'd love to go to Portland.
Okay.
I think Portland just hits so many of my like niche little coffee bakeries, things like that I would just really enjoy.
I have been to Portland, but didn't get out much when I was there.
Conference?
I was teaching for something there.
Okay.
But you know who has spent a summer in Portland?
Nate in Ohio.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So we'll have you put the coffee shop book link in the show notes to help people
Will do.
with that. But I think it's time for us to move on to This Day in Sports.
Okay, so May 17th, this day in sports history, 1939, the first televised baseball game is on NBC with the classic rivalry of Princeton and Columbia.
Yeah, those Princeton teams were unbelievable back then. What fascinates me is the fact that it was college baseball, not a professional game.
That is interesting. 1970, Hank Aaron becomes the 9th player to get 3,000 hits. That's big with Melky Cabrera just joining that group as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't follow baseball super closely, but to me it just kind of feels like sometimes Hank Aaron is, for as great as he was, he doesn't get talked about as much as maybe he should be.
98, David Wells tosses a perfect game, 4-0 to beat the Twins.
Now, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I think he pitched that game hungover. I think there's
really?
some story connected with that where he was basically hungover and pitched that game.
Interesting.
Yeah, which if you know what David Wells looks like, he's a big dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can imagine him
sweating it out.
Yeah, exactly.
2019, Brooks Koepka fires a 65, 5 under par, to set a new record for 36 hole in a golf major, the PGA Championship, Bethpage State Park 7-stroke lead in a 36-hole tournament record.
Okay.
In 2020, Michael Jordan's autographed Air Nike 1s trainers from 1985 sell for a record $560,000 in an online auction.
And that, if you remember, 2020, COVID year, Last
Dance, yeah,
was like that was a well-timed auction item.
Oh
right
yeah,
there.
oh yeah.
So, you got a preference there?
I'm probably Hank Aaron.
Okay.
Where are you at? You got a?
I could go with either that or the Air Jordan selling for what they do. I'm fine either way. If you're going to go with Hank Aaron, let's go with me.
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
We'll do that. All right. One thing you liked.
Okay, so I'm just gonna throw it to the anniversary this weekend. So celebrating 2 years, and yeah,
2 years down.
2 years down.
48 to go.
48 to go. Hopefully more. Yeah, we'll see.
Well, I mean, you're
Who
how
knows?
old are you?
34.
Okay, well, that's getting you to 90. No, 82. 82. Like now, I'm the one.
Now you're the one struggling
82.
with math.
Get you to 82. Yeah, maybe a little more than that. Okay.
Yeah. My wife. I think my wife says I have to live till 86. I think is what it is.
It's a very specific number. Why is that?
I think she's worried about me dying first, and so she wants me to live a full, long life.
And then it's okay for you to die first?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. It's a very morbid discussion.
Yes. It's a discussion we've had multiple times. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, if you die suddenly, they always look at the spouse. That's always the first stop.
Do.
Always the first stop. The spouse or the boyfriend or girlfriend. For me, we both got to enjoy a visit from Nate from Ohio.
Yeah.
He was in town this weekend.
Nate was in town this weekend.
Yeah. So good to see him. Same old Nate.
Yep. It was good to see him. Good to spend a little time.
You
get some
grabbed
coffee.
you got a good meal with him.
Yep.
At
Got some
Okinawa?
lunch. Yep.
Okay.
Walked him around campus. He hadn't been around campus in a while.
Yeah. Yeah. He said that you took him into the new science center.
Yeah.
Which he had not been in. That was renovated like 3 years ago, maybe now.
I think it's more like 5.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay. And he described the old one as basically the equivalent of a bomb shelter.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, not the. Yeah, they did some good work with that.
They did. It looks nice.
All right. So we have talked rare things in baseball. We've announced our summer read, Randy Newman, Mere Evangelism, 10 Insights from C.S. Lewis to help you share your faith. We will have the link up for that. We'll start our discussion June 14th. Go ahead and get that now. And we have talked bucket list travel destinations. We've talked Hank Aaron. We have talked milestone anniversaries and visits from podcast listeners. So I think by definition, we have covered our various and sundry topics. So all that's left to say is until next time, the Lord bless you all real good.
Later.